So I'm back today with another bass review and different color shirt than the other ones, so you can tell I'm shooting some of these all on the same day. Hopefully we'll knock out a few today, but today we're going to talk about that guy, the American Professional 2 Jazz Bass by Fender. So let's take a look at it. All right, so first and foremost, this is just a Fender Jazz Bass. It's all stock, just like my precision bass over there, American Standard 2 Precision that I already reviewed. So I've done 2 precisions. I've done a jazz bass already, a fretless, and now I'm doing another jazz bass. But trust me, things get more interesting from here because the next few basses you're going to see are not your run-of-the-mill standard PRJ bass. But this one is. It's pretty much unremarkable. It is a nice professional quality instrument. It's really good. The only bad thing about this, and there is a story about most of my basses, and this one has a story as well. You may notice that right along in here, the neck is a different color. So I was in the process of putting my preferred strap locks on, and I had this bass on my bench. So while it was on the bench, I was using a screwdriver and screwing in the strap locks, and the bass fell off the bench. So when it fell off the bench, it dinged the neck right here, which had to be sanded out. You know, I sanded it and smoothed it out, and I refinished the neck in True Oil, and it feels just as good, probably better than it did stock. The other place, it took a little knock, if we can see it on camera, just right there. If I can get it to focus on there. It actually cracked the finish down to the wood, and I had to mix up some super glue and some black paint and do a drop fill, and I drop filled it, so you can tell it's a little bit different color. I polished it back out, but no other damage was done to the bass. Everything was great. And while I hate it because I love my basses to be minty, this one had a little spill. So it has some mojo. Maybe I can consider that relic and I could sell it for more money because it actually happened. It wasn't just beaten up with something. It actually dropped it. But it didn't hurt the neck. Nothing else is wrong with it. And other than the String Joy strings that I run on most all of my basses, it's fantastic. So let's hear what it sounds like. All right, so now we're on a different camera, different microphone. So things will look different and sound different, but you'll also be able to hear the sound of the bass. Again, as you've heard me say repeatedly over and over again, I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm not a professional camera person. I'm just not. So this is not as smooth and polished as some other ones, but not a lot to really say about this bass. I mean, you already told the story about dropping it and having to do some light repair on it, but you know, it's designed for that sort of environment. The Fender Professional 2, American Professional 2 series is a professional quality instrument, and you can, if you're watching this review, possibly you've watched some other reviews on this bass. You may have seen some comments about, oh, these, you know, all it needs is a replacement pickup and it sounds good. That's just hogwash. These pickups sound fantastic. No worries whatsoever about these pickups. Love these tuning machines. These are the ones that Fender puts on the American basses with the tapered posts. They just keep the, you know, probably can't see it on camera. Well, but yeah, you can. It really keeps the strings pushed really low and down on the post, so they break over the nut really well. It's just little things like that I think make an instrument better. The fingerboard edges being rolled is great. The only thing I don't like about this bass, and it has nothing to do with the bass itself, it has to do with the size of my hands, is jazz bass necks are like banjo necks to me. I mean, they are so thin and so skinny that my hand literally is so cramped up to try to play this bass. I bought this bass kind of, it was kind of one of those things that I couldn't refuse. I saw it for sale used, And it was for a really good price. And I double checked, is that actually an American Professional 2 that this guy's selling? Maybe he, he was hard up for money. And he put that it had scratches on the back. And really, I wouldn't call them scratches. They're looks like they're just swirl marks, like from maybe where he played with, a denim jacket or something that was, a more aggressive fabric. But I mean, they buffed right out. When I did the repair on the body, I just buffed the whole back of the bass, and it looks brand new. And that was the only thing that he said that was wrong with it, and he's spot on. This thing is a 2021 model, 75th anniversary edition, or a year, which is indicated on the back. You may have noticed that on the headstock, but it says 75th anniversary, which is kind of cool. And when I got the American Professional P bass, the used one that I was going to buy, if you saw that review, it was the same year and had the same 75th anniversary Fender logo on the back. But of course that one ended up being sold, and I got a new one, and that's a 22, and it doesn't have that, but who cares? It's not like it's going to make the bass sound any different. So I won't belabor the point because there's tons of reviews on this bass. It's just a Fender Jazz bass. It's all passive. Everything is fantastic. It's quiet. I think the pickups sound great. I love these, what Fender calls their vintage high mass bridge, meaning, from the front, it kind of looks vintagey. It doesn't look weird, and we're definitely going to get into some weird bridges because I love bass bridges. I just, I have just a fascination with a lot of the snake oil, people, and we're going to talk a lot about snake oil here in the next reviews. And I'll give you some examples, especially when we get to this red bass right here, because I've actually changed the bridge on that bass. And the blue bass next to it, there's stories between those two, and we're going to get into that in those reviews. But I like these beefy bridges. The controls are fantastic. Everything on both of my Fender American Professional 2s has been perfect. Not a flaw to be found on these basses. Yes, people poo-poo Fender, say that they're crap, say that they're overpriced. They're not if you find them used in good shape, or if you find somebody selling a new one for a low price. But we live in a world where people get comfortable seeing that logo. So you're paying for that logo, and I know that. And but when sound guys see you rocking a Fender, they feel comfortable. Especially around here in Nashville, we have a joke that if you show up to a session or a gig, you need to have an FSO, or a Fender-shaped object. And most of my basses are Fender-shaped objects, and it's that way for a reason. So let's hear a few sound samples. I'm going to cut my mic off so you can just hear the bass, and we'll play a little bit through the amp sim. If you haven't seen the rig rundown video part 1, watch that and you'll understand what you're going to hear. So I'm going to go quiet for a minute, and we'll listen to the sound of the bass. All right, so I'm back, and that was the sound through the amp sim on my HX Stomp. And now I'm going to pipe the sound to, as soon as I delete this, I have this goofy little thing that lets me route sound from different sources, and unfortunately it's a little clunky. So let me change this down here to where I'm removing all of my processing, and we're going to go just straight to the mixer. So I'm going to mute the mics again, and we'll hear what it sounds like.
So that is that. So this one will probably be a little bit shorter than the other videos because it's a jazz bass. And it's a very good jazz bass. And if you are looking for a Fender shaped object to do jazz bass things, why not buy it from the company that invented it? Because they've perfected the formula. It's really a good instrument. But that'll do it for this review. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.